goes directly to the communities to compensate them and help them deal with the aftermath of this tragedy of the American opiate epidemic. 15% goes to the state, and the vast majority, 55%, goes to a foundation that is controlled by a board that is controlled by local representatives, local government representatives, although there are state appointees to it. Make no mistake about it, this is a local board and local control. The money will be spent to combat the terrible price that Ohio has paid because of the wanton and reckless marketing of these dangerously addictive drugs. Now, I suppose it's important to recognize that there's no admission of wrongdoing on the part of the companies. However, the check that they're writing is substantial, and I don't think it's going to get any better. I'll talk about that in a minute. But right now, we're at a point of deal or no deal. We need to get at least 95% of the population represented by the litigating subdivisions in Ohio on board for this. The companies, frankly, are not interested in a deal that leaves lawsuits out there hanging, and perhaps understandably so. Well, where are we today? As of this morning, we have about 86% of the population represented by these governments has come on board. That's not enough. Candidly, I'm not even sure that 95% is going to get there. The distributors might even ask for something north of that, but certainly 95% of the population is a bare minimum. That's the what we have to get in the door. Now, I want to reiterate something that I've implied, but I want to say it explicitly. There is no deal. There's no deal yet. And we need to have everybody on board for there to be a deal. The distributors can still walk away from this deal, and we need to put these resources to work in our local communities for treatment, for prevention and education. We desperately need this money on the ground combating the opiate epidemic. And we're in a position where a few governments could hold out and nix the deal for the entire state. That would be an even bigger tragedy. So you might want to know whether your community is in or not. Are they part of the 86% or part of the 14%? Well, later today, on the Attorney General website, there will be a button. It'll be very clearly labeled, "Who's in?" And I encourage you to log on and see if your community has signed on to this historic and very important deal to have cash flowing into our local communities to fight the opiate epidemic. This is no time for gamesmanship. This is no time for politics. This is not an R&D issue. This is an Ohio issue. Now, look, I want to talk about the alternatives here for a second. If we don't have a deal, if we can't get to 95% or better in Ohio, several things will happen. The first thing is that Ohio will go to trial in September. We have a trial date in Madison County, and we will try our case. The local subdivisions, the counties, the cities, none of all y'all have a trial date. Settlements happen on the eve of trial. There won't be anything left for you. If this deal falls apart, you're going to be picking over last year's carcass for a few gleanings in bankruptcy court. There's not a better deal, but there are lots of worse deals out there. Now, I want to call on every politician in this state to do the right thing. The clock's ticking. We have to hear by next Friday, 5 o'clock next Friday, August 20th. If there's not a deal by then, if we don't have the 95%, Ohio has no choice except to get ready for trial and move on. This is a time for all of us to come together. This is no time for politics. This is no time for posturing. This is no time to try to score points. This is a time to come together. This is we time, not me time. I'll be happy to take any questions that you have. I know I've been perfectly clear, so there might not be any questions.
This is Danny Eldridge with Hannah News Service.
Okay, thank you all for joining us today.
Oh,
Can you hear me?